In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the driver's side front differential mounting bracket on this Chevy Silverado. Let's get into it. We're going to remove this panel, use a 15mm socket, take these 4 bolts out. And slide the panel down. Now I'm going to take a pull jack and just support this side of the differential. You don't have to push up on it, just light pressure. We're going to take these 2 nuts out. We're going to remove this cover, use a 15mm socket, take the bolts out. And slide the cover down. Using a 21mm socket, take these nuts out. And we can lower this down a little bit. I did support the differential right here, so now I can lower it down. On top of the bolts, you're going to use a 15mm socket with a ratchet just to hold it from spinning, and then underneath we're going to use a 18mm socket, take this nut off. Take that nut off. Bolt, and slide the bolt out. We're going to take this shield out of the way, use a 13mm socket, take this bolt out. And slide that shield out. Using a 15mm socket, put that on the top of the bolt. And 18mm socket, take the nut off. Slide that out. We're going to remove the axle from the flange. Use a 15mm socket. I like to mark the axle before, just use some chalk, just so when you put it back together, it's in the same location. Separate that, lower this down. We're going to disconnect this axle as well. Just mark it, take these bolts out using a 15mm socket. And separate that. Now we're going to disconnect the drive shaft, use an 11mm socket, take these bolts out. You want to mark this as well. You can see there's some chalk on there. Use a crayon or some chalk, just so it goes back together the same way. Take a pry bar, pry it out. You can just slide this out of the way. You can use a bungee cord, just hold it up there. I'm going to use an 18mm wrench, hold the bolt, and then 18mm socket, take these nuts out. Do the same on this side. Take the bolts out. Using a pry bar, you can pry the cross member down. Now I'm just going to lower the differential, not too far, because the wires are still connected. And grab the bracket. And slide it out. Now we're going to take the bracket, and it's going to end up going in this location like that. We're just going to have to work it back in there. And you're going to have to twist it. Get that lined up. Now we're going to put these bolts in. Get these started, get the nut on, and the other one. And get the nut started. And tighten those down. Now we're going to push the differential back in place. If you have a pole jack, just screw it back up. And put these bolts in. And tighten it down. I'm just going to lower the support, take that out of the way. Take the cross member, line that up, and just hammer it in place. And slide the bolts through. Get the nuts started. Now we'll tighten these down. Now put the nuts on. And tighten these down. I'll put the bolts in for the axles. I'll snug this down. Before I tighten it all the way, go to the complete opposite side. Tighten that one down tight. Then go back and tighten it down. And just go around, tighten them all down. We're going to do the same on the other side. Now you want to reinstall the drive shaft. Take the bungee cord off. And just get it lined up the same way it came off. Put the bracket on. Snug this down. With a pry bar, I'm going to prevent the drive shaft from spinning and torque these bolts to 18 foot-pounds. Double check this one. That's good. And take this shield, get that lined up. And tighten this down. I'll put these panels in place. Get the bolts started. And tighten it down. And line this cover up. And tighten it down.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.